the first thing you're going to want to do is pick a tempo and a key. Now, they have a lot of their melodies in minor key, so I'm doing mine in C harmonic minor, along with the tempo being relatively slow. I'm going to have mine at about 100 BPM. Their songs range from about 90 beats per minute all the way to 140-ish. They also like to use plucks for their melody, which is what we're going to write first. The melodies are super simplistic. You can probably pick about 6 notes to repeat, and if it's catchy, then you'll be just fine. So the melody that I wrote is this. Alright, so the next thing you're going to want to do is make a melody to go on top of that. So there's 2 melodies, this simple one that will play throughout the whole song, and one that is kind of like a built-on version of that, but more complicated in a sense. Just something that's like catchier and more vibrant, something a little more memorable to put for the choruses. So you can come up with this counter melody by taking each note from the original melody and turning them into chords, and then coming up with something, to go in between notes and everything to have it move a little more. The second melody that will play throughout the choruses will be this. Alright, so next I'm gonna make the drum kit, or the drum pattern, the drum loop. Mainly because after we get an idea of what we want to do for the kick, then we can have fun with the bass. So all the drums I got are from the 9God drum kit from Cymatics. I don't have enough subscribers to let this be a sponsored video. I just don't want this to come off as these are my sounds or anything. A lot of the drums that I use for a lot of stuff are, especially like trap beats or lo-fi stuff, come from Cymatics. So I just want to shout that out since they do have a lot of good free stuff. I cannot recommend it enough. So the snare we have will just sound like this. Now the hi-hats, you can have a lot of fun with those, because from what I've heard throughout their songs, you can have a nice, generic, I don't want to say generic, but you can have like a nice basic hi-hat thing where you can have something going through, or you can have more fun with it. So I'm just gonna come up with something I think sounds good. So our hi-hat pattern will sound like this. Now we come up with a kick. So kicks, they can be very sparse, very few and far in between. As long as you have like the downbeat of every other measure, then you'll be fine. So the kick will sound like this. So now our drums all together sound like this. For the bass, I'm going to use the deep sub bass from Alchemy that is on Logic. So anybody that's using Logic can use this bass. The best part about this is that you can, so if you copy the kick into the bass, you're already like halfway done with this. So our bass will sound like this. but that doesn't slap like it does. So what I'm going to do is use the distortion, Logic's distortion, to bring up the tone all the way through 20,000 hertz. Keep the drive at 6 decibels, but bring the output down 9.5. And also use the Berserk distortion by Waves Audio on the bass amp distortion, but bring the mix to about 57, 58-ish. So now the bass will sound like this. So now everything together, unmixed, unmastered, will sound like this. So before we listen to the final product, all mixed and mastered and everything, I just want to thank you all for watching this video. Hope you like and subscribe and tell me what you want to hear. And I have Amazon affiliate links below that if you want to see any of the gear, or you find any of the gear that I use to make these videos and my music, it'll all be down in the description below, along with links to my latest EP, Adrift. Now, without further ado, let's listen to this.